Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars.
Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar.
All right. We are now live, family. Oh, it's going to be a show tonight, and it's, I was about to say, and it's Friday night, but it's Thursday. But it feels like a Friday to me, but it's Thursday night. Anyhow, this show is brought to you by Radio Cigars. I want to take this time to welcome, and Rod, I got to send you some more cigars. Next week, I'm going to send you out some because I got a fresh batch. So I'm going to send you out some, my brother. But I want to welcome back to the platform, my brother Rod Hayes. Welcome back, my brother. Welcome back.
My pleasure, brother Rich. Hey, who made that commercial? That's fire. You did that?
No, my homie did it. What's his name? OBG, Original Black God. He do a lot of the AI stuff. He's like dope with it. Anything you want AI, you hit him up and he got you, Rod. So,
yeah, that's fire though. So you gotta shout him out, let everybody know where he at.
Oh yeah,
that's good work.
They could go straight to Instagram, Original Black God. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send you some of the stuff he be posted. He be doing like the indigenous Americans, and he be making the AI with them. You got to see it, Rod. It's off the hook, man.
Yeah, so, that commercial, right? It gets so much cultural identifiers in it.
Like what you mean? Give me an example.
Like from our perspective, it's showing us closer to what was really going on than what we've been told. Right? Like the only reason why people get sick from tobacco, it ain't the tobacco. It's the stuff that they spray on them in order to increase their profit margin.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not the tobacco. We got grandmamas and big papas that used to smoke from the time they was 4, 5 years old till they was 100 and never developed cancer, right? Then they also cut us off from our real soul food cooking. The real soul food cooking was using the medicinal herbs in the food. It's why we didn't have to go to doctors.
Right.
So the mothers used to love to cook the soul food and fill it with their love for their families, and that's the most nourishing food you could get. But they used to incorporate stuff in to clean the lungs, clean the intestines, clean the liver, right? And it was based on the color of the vegetable, fruit, or whatever it is they cook it, and the type of meat it was. You know what I'm saying? So they would make meal plans out based on the nutritional needs of the family. And she instinctively knew as a nurturer what nutrients each one of them required and how could she balance this out for all of them. That's like at the core of the understanding of a matriarchy. Because everybody think it's just changing the positions of male leaders to female leaders. It's a whole different cultural experience.
Yeah.
right? Because it's rooted in family more than it's rooted in government. Government needs to destroy the families in order to perpetuate their existence. The matriarch needs strong families in order to reestablish their position. That's why it's so hard for us to get back to who we are. We got so many different fragments now, and we scared each other due to the infiltrators looking like us. So
Definitely.
we be hostile with each other. We got our little position. I was talking to my little brother earlier, and I was like, man, you ever notice that the people that hold their position and fight hard for it, they the ones that everybody ridicules for holding their position? Do you know what it takes to hold your position at the top when you got a young up and coming lion, tiger, bear, gorilla coming behind you, ready for his turn to sit in your spot? Right? So we used to use the tribal structure in order to pass that information that the elders have to the up and coming youth. Excuse me.
Take your time, Rod. Take your time, my brother. Sip some of this water in my copper cup, y'all.
I saw what I was drinking, some water.
Hey, Rod.
Johnson flew in my throat while I was talking.
Okay. You want to finish with your point, Rod? Or
I forgot where I was going with it when I started coughing. Changed my train of thought.
yeah.
I was talking about holding your position.
Right, and the young gods coming up. Yeah.
It's like before we considered Michael Jordan to go, it was somebody else.
Magic Johnson was before him, and he had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, all of them was around.
Yeah.
And Detroit, Isaiah Thomas. Remember, the Bulls couldn't get past Detroit in the 80s.
That was their training program.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you train in your difficult level set to 10, it's going to have you turn your skill set up to meet the level. So when the Bulls was running into the Pistons, Michael Jordan was running in. He thought he was on 10, but he was only on like 7. But Isaiah was already on 10. Joey Dumars was already on 10. Right? Their whole team together collectively on the blue collar work ethic was already on 10. So Mike is using them to develop who he become. He needed the Pistons to beat him down on the East in order for him to rise up to be able to beat the teams on the West, because Portland wasn't no hope. Right? And LA was, that's where Magic was at. And they was running the NBA in the 80s. Right? Their only rival was the Celtics with Larry Bird. In order for Mike to be considered the greatest, he got to overcome Larry Bird. He got to overcome Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. Right? He had to overcome all of the greats in his era that was there before him in order for even be considered in the conversation of greatness.
Right.
And then, the standard matters. Because if you talk about his high-flying capabilities making the greatest, then you got to compare him to Dr. J. Right? If it's championships, then you got to pair him to Bill Russell. Right? So the parameters by greatness will change, but it's always somebody looking to replace Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, right? Or LeBron James. And then the people from the Jordan era like that, they ain't no damn Jordan. They might be some bad boys, but they ain't no damn Jordan. So the one who has to try to hold his position and the one that's coming for the position not going to tell the story the same. Because to the one coming for the position, the one in the position is holding them back.
Right.
But the one that's holding the position is holding the position because he took that. He can't hold on to it if he don't fight off these young lions and tigers and bears at his feet. He won't be on top very long. That's the understanding of holding your position and standing on what you're standing on.
No, indeed. Hey, Rod, I want to I was talking to Rod the other day. He started talking about the Pleiadian light code lockdown, and it was just one of them things where I was like, Rod, we gotta talk about this on camera. I'm like, that's how it usually happens when we be chopping it up on the phone. But I want to play you this clip. Oh, let me somebody asking about the cigars. I put the link in the chat, y'all. If y'all interested in donating for cigars, the link is in the chat. But Rod, I want to start out with, because we're talking about Pleiadian light code lockdown. You were talking to me about how the war in the heavens spilled into Earth. We was talking about the meteors and all of that, and he was like, "Yo, the war in the heavens spilled onto the Earth." You started talking about inking and Lil and all of that. So we're gonna have a great conversation about that. But I want to start out with and get your opinion, because it's totally related to what we're talking about. This hybrid government breeding program that they are talking about now, and I want to get your opinion on it. So let me play this clip. Damn, how do I hold up? Okay, hold up, y'all.
We're breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. And I think the most important information will be the biologics that are not human that have been discovered. And like even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating,
captured aliens.
All right, so that's all. I just wanted to play that real quick. A uniform army member talking about an alien breeding with a human to create this hybrid for the purposes of intergalactic communication. They're saying they're doing that now. They're saying they have different places where they do this. I mean, there's so much alien talk going on right now, Rob. But to start out with this right there, a hybrid alien breeding program. What's your thoughts on that? Is that happening right now, Rod? And what are they talking about?
Look, the agreement Eisenhower made with whoever he was meeting with in the Pentagon that represented a foreign country, they call him Val Thor. Then he made a treaty with the Greys, and Valiant Thor as the one who they said was negotiating the terms of the treaty because he could speak the language of the Ramardian Greys and he can speak the languages of the Earth tribes. So he became the intermediary to negotiate with Eisenhower, right? Stranger at the Pentagon. You remember that, Brother Rich?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they read through the agreement made with Eisenhower and the so-called extraterrestrials, one of the things that they wanted Eisenhower to consent to was them taking human DNA because they claimed to be humans from the future who ruined their genetics through radiation poisoning and nuclear war. So they come back into the past in order to get DNA from the human species that they evolved from and to correct all of the genetic codes in their DNA that was damaged from the radiation that made them look grotesque when they compared to us. So a lot of the graves called Isbies, right? The Isby is an actual spiritual being that incarnates into like a dwarf form of human in order to only relay information of a scientific nature about the reality we live in. And so they take this form as the ISB, and they come and they measure the creations of the different galaxies. So when we look at, we see space dust in the distance forming into a galaxy, and they've been reported to be overseen by these future humans who damaged their DNA, who came back as the ISB, using that form in order to communicate with other species. So they end up making an agreement, and the agreement gave them the right to collect genetic material from various animals on Earth, and humans was included in that agreement.
Right. Somebody said like the movie Toxic Avenger. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, they made a lot of movies about extraterrestrials breeding with humans, right? You got to remember the ancient Anunnaki text is telling us about aliens breeding with humans.
Right.
Genesis telling us about some people falling from somewhere else to Earth and breeding with humans. If they ain't from Earth, that make them extraterrestrial. That make them aliens. Alien means foreigner, and extraterrestrial means something on Earth that wasn't there before.
Right.
A meteor can be an extraterrestrial and an alien. Right? And whatever microscopic organisms is on there, that's a whole alien civilization. When you take what they be giving you as a exaggeration, minimize it and simplify it as simple as possible, and it'll shrink that problem down for you to see it from a different angle.
Now, Rod, you said something different. I've been hearing different people saying different things, and you said something different from what I heard other people saying about the meteors and what they really are. So what exactly, why is these things falling to the earth so frequently all of a sudden, Rod?
I wish you could have showed that video, but if you remember, Ronald Reagan did a speech at the UN when he was announcing that America had launched a program called Operation Star Wars. The Star Wars program was put in place to supposedly defend Earth from extraterrestrial forces. It's been dismantled. What we've been looking at, and they've been telling us, is these are meteors, and NASA never reported incoming meteors. That's because they already in the sky. They're satellites. These satellites have military-grade laser weaponry that was developed in the 60s and the 70s. That's what they put up into space as a means to shoot down alien craft. Now, whoever it is in that ship that's hovering over the Gulf right now is dismantling the whole Star Wars apparatus, which was about to give birth to what Trump was calling the Golden Dome. The Golden Dome was like a force field defense system from incoming weaponry. But it was neutralized by taking out the foundation is the Star Wars program. Right? That's where it's coming from. So when we telling us these meteors, but these are damaged satellites. And once you see one of them, like the one in the video I sent you, once you see it, you realize that's 80s tech. You know exactly what it is then. The technology of the part of the satellites that's hitting the Earth, when you look at it, you know from growing up in the 70s and 80s what 80s technology looked like. And you can look at it and you can say, oh, that's 80s tech right there. It's that blatantly obvious that that's what the age of the technology is from, because they don't use that technology anymore. It's just defunct now. It's expired. We got better stuff. And so they got to dismantle this Star Wars program so they can show they superior control over the situation as we fizzle out of that Pleiadian light, like I was telling you about.
So before we get into the Pleiadian light log, I wanted to ask, and I seen somebody in the chat mention it. Why all of a sudden this talk with the moon. All of a sudden, Elon talking about going back to the moon. Now the U.S. is launching, going back to the moon. While all of a sudden, this interest in the moon, Rod.
Artemis 5. It's a Artemis 2 is the name of the flight. Artemis Fowl is a author of a book, right? The symbol of Artemis Fowl is the owl. The rendition of the owl that they give us in pop culture as an Illuminati asset is Moloch. But Moloch is not a cow. Moloch is actually a calf. But they're giving you the owl as Moloch. Now, in the web on the dollar bill, you need a microscope to see the owl on the money. Now remember, Trump name is now going to be on the dollar in place of the Federal Reserve representative on the dollar. The Federal Reserve is gone. Trump signature is going to temporarily be on there because that's going to be what's called official currency of the modern republic, right? So it's going to go through a transition phase from what we're going to be calling in the future Trump notes, because they're going to have his signature on it. The Trump notes are the gateway finance from the fiat currency of the false system. The Trump notes put in the circulation until there's no old fiat being activated under the gold standard. And that's why he got to wait to shift to the treasury to the gold standard and everybody to get to the understanding that the Federal Reserve gone. And that's why his signature going to be on the Trump note. Now, the Trump note is telling us about the incoming new financial system that's going to be following the digital format, but it's going to be in a different structure from the Federal Reserve fractional reserve banking system. So the new currency that's going to be coming online is going to be backed by substance. But the old fiat, as they use the Trump note, they're going to have to use the Trump note to circulate the old fiat out. So when they switch over to the new currency, the Trump note being the dominant note, now the currency is stabilized. It's almost like what's that, Gulliver's Travel, the giant with all those tiny threads that form the powerful bond to hold him down. Mm-hmm. So it's the same idea with the money. So you have to put the Trump notes in. All this is all tied together as what we call a series of very fortunate events. Mm-hmm. Right? So those things that's falling down, those are satellites from the old system that's not going to be able to be used in the future anyway. Mm-hmm. The falling banking system is going to be the old system. Everything is start in real time. We watching the world change in front of us into something that's going to benefit everybody in the world. Mm-hmm. And people going to start treating people different. The rules of the matriarchy is based on love as the first principle of everything you do. Right. And then when you use your litmus test to determine if a thing should be done, you only ask two questions. How is it going to affect the children? How is it going to affect the earth? The fallen system didn't care how it affected children, and they didn't care how it affected the earth, or all of the water wouldn't be polluted. Mm. We used to be able to drink water everywhere we say water at. Now you drink that water at your own risk.
Yeah.
That's not normal. That means something wrong somewhere.
Yeah. Damn, that's a memory. Remember drinking water from a fountain? Wow. Shit, man. A kid will have to be crazy, like you said, to drink water from a fountain nowadays. Wow, that's sad.
And it was a time when we could go to any puddle in the street and drink water. You can't do that shit. Mm. You don't know what you be drinking. All kind of chemicals in that shit.
Yeah. Rod, what is, to get to the main topic tonight, What is, because whenever I hear the word Pleiadian, I always hear and I said this before. I think I was talking to Billy or something like that. I always hear when I watch the spiritual channels on YouTube and stuff like that. I always hear the black folks mention Sirius, and the white folks always mention the Pleiades. I always hear the white folks mention the Pleiades, but black folks, they always talking about Sirius. White folks, they always talking about Pleiades. What is Pleiadian light code lockdown, Rod Hayes? What does that mean, my brother? Exactly.
Okay, you familiar with the Galactic Council?
Yes.
Okay. The Galactic Council was formed because of raging Anunnaki wars on Earth. These raging Anunnaki wars is what we call them today pyramid wars, or Minas wars, right? The Atlantean wars. This is what caused the formation of the Galactic Council. The constant exploding of nuclear weaponry is sending out shock waves beyond our universe.
Beyond the universe?
Right. Or our solar system.
Okay.
As it get out there with so much nuclear activity, these shock waves is alerting other civilizations because when it comes across in the open universe, when it reaches them, they picking it up psychically most of the time, and it's telling them whatever this is dangerous. Right? Now, the people of the Earth energy, zodiac energy is derived from the positioning of stars throughout the sky. Pleiades is one of the star constellation that governs one of the zodiac signs that filters the stardust light from that solar system or star system to Earth to come out as the zodiac expression. I ain't lose you, did I? Okay, now once those people absorb the Pleiadian energy, we would refer to them as the children of the Pleiades or the children of the seven sisters. The story of the seven sisters has been now given to the sisters of Eve, is what they call them, the seven sisters of Eve. Right? That's from a different era that's bygone, that we already used that, but it's still serving as a measuring tool. Now, when you hear different people talk about Ceres or Pleiad, the Pleiadians in their true form, because you hardly ever see them in their true form. You see them in whatever, they can shapeshift. But in their true form, when they not shapeshifting to look like the human they want to look like, their skin actually look like pearl.
Like pearl?
Like pearls. Like a string of pearls.
Like white pearls.
Yeah, but not just white. All of the colors that pearls come in, they all come in those varying shades of pearl, from black pearl to white pearl. Right? When they take on the frequency of the Earth, they can shift to look human to the degree, and if they was, let's say, white pearl in their true form, they might look like what's called the tall white extraterrestrials. They commonly refer to them as Aryan, but Aryan is Vedic for royalty, and it was originally applied to the people that look like the Jackson 5 that live over there. But when they got overthrew from power, this going back to the cause of the lockdown, those people they call the Aryan today are not the real royal family. Those are Enlil kids with the straight hair, right, and the cinnamon brown to the olive brown complexion, right? Them the ones that's in the royal seats of India, Pakistan, Tibet. Those were Enlil kids. Inky kids was the ones who originally was settled there. Them the ones that look like the Jackson 5, they call them the untouchables. Right? That's where Sai Baba come from that Inky line. And that's why he was a ancestor And that's why he was able to perform all of those so-called miracles. He understood the metaphysics of manipulating the reality around you. Right? So Enlil kids was placed everywhere the Inky kids was. Enlil kids was placed in the royal position above them. And all the Inky kids was kicked out of their seats of power all over the world, except for the Americas was not under Inky's domain. It was under Tahuti's domain. And they wasn't never supposed to bring the Inky Enlil bullshit to the Americas. And that would have kept Tahuti and the tribes of the land out of the family conflict that was going on between Inky and Enlil. Right? We hear that they say that the devil had 6,000 years to rule the earth. God cast the devil to the earth and gave the devil dominion over the earth for 6,000 years. I know we all heard that.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the story in Revelations when they say Michael and his angels fought with Satan and his angels, and Satan and his angels was cast to the earth. I know we all read that in Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, they commonly translate Satan in the new books as the dragon. Right? Dragon means master. So it was two masters in conflict. One was Michael, which was actually Michelle, which was a representative of ISIS, but that's a whole nother story. The conflict breaks out at the family's dinner in Nibiru. And this is why they say it landed on the earth. They was cast to the earth, right? They came to fight the balance of the war. The last 6,000 years of the 24,000 year cycle had to be fought on earth because they couldn't fight the whole war on Nibiru because it was a whole nother dynamic on Nibiru than what was going on the earth. And the source of the problem was about the birthright of Enlil over his sister, who was Inky's wife, as the heir to Earth. So they was fighting the war over Earth to begin with. The problem came in because the Horus story, Isis, gave birth to a son and her dead husband couldn't consent, so they called her a harlot, right? And this is why they keep telling everybody Mary Magdalene was a whore, but they can't show it to you nowhere in the book. These stories are broken pieces from different parts of a bigger story put in together in a certain way to confuse the narrative. We was in this 6,000 years of Enlil's reign, right? Now, because Earth is matriarchal, he had to put one of his wives on the throne. Her name is Vatica, goddess of the underworld, right? She out of there, but she used to live under the Vatican. And as the goddess of the underworld, she had reverse genetics than us. And it was a politically arranged relationship. The problem was that Vatica is genetically like a hyena. You don't know if she's got a phallus or not. She got something hanging. She can't sit on the sacerdotal seat on the earth. So they gave her what's called the underworld, which reside her to the caverns that run under the Vatican. She can't leave there. They used to feed her people. And if you look under the Vatican, she used to neatly stack the bones of the people that she ate. Now, all this, I'm trying to tell y'all where to look for this information. Go to Google and type in bones under the Vatican, and you will see what I'm talking about. Type in Vatica. Now you'll know who I'm talking about. The queen lizard bitch of the archons that the Romans and the Greeks talked about. Look up the archives to understand what I'm telling you. They described as reptilians. This is why. They are the children of Vatican. The archons cannot live on the surface of the earth. But when they come back so many times of dying on earth, they start looking like us. The only problem is that their genetics is inverted. Their females are XY chromosome, right? And their males are 2X chromosome. Their males, we call them the queen of the damned because they cannot produce a child with an earthborn, right? So they always need a surrogate. That's what Harvey Weinstein is one of them things, and the Kardashians is them things. They got inverted genetics.
I was about to ask about Harvey, but why you say the Kardashians? They don't have inverted. They got inverted genetics.
Kim is the queen of the damned. She's the queen of the damned. She's a hive queen. She will, in the old world, they would call her a daughter of Vatican.
Well,
they made like seahorses.
Well, let me ask you this, Rod. If she's the queen of the dam, who's Kanye? If she's the queen of the
he the one who had to hold the bear until we get her. In the text, where you will find the story about Perseus, right, taking the head of Medusa. That's Perseus in this situation would be Kanye exposing Kim.
He would be Perseus. Oh, I just seen that Disney got a show about Perseus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a show, Little White Kid. I was watching it like a year ago, I think, something like that.
Remember, their most famous one was back in the day was called Clash of the Titans.
Right.
Right. He had to go take the Gorgon head in order to turn the Kraken into stone. The Kraken would be the equivalent of the Great Leviathan, the water serpent, which was one of the earth spirits. They keep looking for a fish in the water, and it's a woman on earth. The symbolism is describing her spiritual quality as a dragon. She's of the old dragon line's spirit energy. Those Nagas kings, Nagas queens from the days of old that don't exist no more. All that stuff is just there as a reminder. But when they talk about the return, it's the same at the beginning of Ragnarok when Hela comes and crushes Thor's hammer. Now remember, first you got to be worthy to pick Thor's hammer up, or you can't move Mjolnir. Right? But she don't just pick it up. She catch it while it's in full throttle flight to crush her, and then crush the Mjolnir in her hand with one hand. Because that means she's more powerful than Thor. She's more legitimate than the one that they legitimize. It's all symbolism. And you know Thor is supposed to be Shango. So they gave us all of these symbols, and we have to try to decipher this stuff just so we can understand what's taking place.
Right. Yeah. Somebody mentioned Kim had to get surrogates for all the kids. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the kid got surrogate. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Rob was just talking about that too.
He told us in that song Gold Digger that he was about to do. He's about to go dive on the bear.
Right. So where's because every time something appears in the sky, whether it's 3-Eye Atlas or it could be whatever, everybody said there goes Nibiru. Nibiru's coming back. Where's Nibiru right now in our solar system, Rod?
It's gonna always when you finally see Nibiru, it's going to zoom past so fast, but it's going to look like it's about to run into the Earth on the northwest by Alaska. But it's coming from what's called a perihelic, I think is what they call that orbit. It's coming from under and around, but the distance by which it's going under you is so far away, it looked like a star at night. And then when it goes through that ellipse and starts to come back, it's going to come back from the opposite side of the sun. So the first chance that you would get to see it, you won't even know you're looking at it because it's going to be directly hiding behind the sun. And it's doing that on purpose using its stealth technology. Now, once it gets so close to the Earth, they can't conceal it no more because you are inside of their cloak. And that's why when it looked like it's going over in the by Alaska, it's going to look like it's a big planet about to hit the Earth. But it's not going to hit us. And it's nowhere near as close as it's going to look.
Right.
But it's so big that it looked really close when it comes through.
You know, I love synchronicity. We was talking about Kanye and Kim. Then I asked Rod about Nibiru. The first thing Rod said was, it's going to come from Northwest. What's Northwest, y'all? That's Kanye's daughter. That's the name of Kanye. You see this shit? Like the way it lines up. First thing Rod said was that it's coming from North. That's Kanye's daughter name. Northwest. Oh, man.
He mapping Nibiru.
That's wow. That is crazy. That is wow. Wow. And you know, in his new, he got this. He just did a concert, and it's the illest stage design I ever seen in my life. He's standing on top of the world. He's like standing on top of Earth. Like, look, you got to see it. Let me show a picture. You know, I got to show a picture because I don't know. Hold up. Yeah. So
Kanye is a genius. That's why he seemed weird to everybody because his intelligence level is so high.
I've never, ever seen anything like this. Hold up.
You see the video he did with Travis Scott in it, didn't you?
Yeah, father. Yeah.
You remember Travis Scott had the concert when he was breaking up with Chloe, right?
No, I don't remember that. I wasn't. No.
Remember them people got stampeded at the Travis Scott concert?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a humiliation divorce that witches do.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the goal was to steal his power. If don't nobody tell it, they win. He was lucky because I was telling everybody what was going on in real time.
Yeah, people started decoding that, and yeah, you're right.
Yeah. See, once they get exposed for their sorcery don't work no more. You got to rip the veil of secrecy off of it. Right?
Right.
And they was using Scottish Rite Masonic practice. It was a humiliation divorce. It was supposed to leave him destitute, and all his wealth was supposed to reroute back to her. But when it got exposed, it glitched the matrix for him. Now he got to get his own wealth, and she got to get hers if she can find it.
Let me show you this because this is the illest. This is the illest shit I ever seen in my life. So his stage design is this big globe, and he's standing on top of Earth, bro. I never seen nothing like this. Is like Michael Jackson level type shit. Like this is NBA level type shit.
Right. So if you're gonna, in your own mental world, subdue the Earth, you have to represent it in some kind of artistic expression of you subduing the Earth. Remember, in the movie Scarface, what was subduing Earth? The world is man, right?
Right. Yeah.
In his world, you have to minimize the size of the world in your mind to conquer it in whatever you're trying to accomplish. Whatever his end game goal is, because he did it this way, he collapsed the wave into a particle. Now, whatever it is that he's talking about in this platform, it got to have some kind of intrinsic value to what he's trying to accomplish. And that value will be seen. Yeah, this is a manifestation technique.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Rod, I'm glad you mentioned Nibiru being behind the sun. Something that people have been talking about for the last couple of years. I think I realized this, and probably shit, I want to say 2020, 2021, where our sun was more white than what it usually is. It was like bright white. Like we used to the sun being more yellow, golden. That's why we used to hear the term golden rays of the sun when we were young. And I remember one day I just started looking up at the sun and I'm like, why does the sun look so white? It looked like an LED light, look bright and white. And then I noticed it the other day. I looked at the sun and I think it was supposed to be like sunset and the shit was still white like a mug. So what's going on with this? It looked like a diamond. Imagine looking in the sky and you seen a diamond in the sky. It looked like a diamond, like it was like piercing white light. And I know the scientists say the sun is already white, it's just our atmosphere, but it's more white than what it usually was when we were younger, growing up.
And then you're going back to the breaking of the Pleiadian light lock. Me and B. Dale had did a show where we was talking about it, and some of the receipts in that show. But the Pleiadian light lock is going to allow more what's called electromagnetic radiation. What's the other one? Nuclear radiation into the Earth. As this happened, the Van Allen belt is what we call the Pleiadian light lock, a radiation barrier. This minimizes the amount of solar ray you can absorb. This is to prevent us from accessing what's called our full-on capabilities, right? So now we can't even fight at full capacity because of the light lock. Now, the light lock was put in place to contain the war within what's called the Earth zone, which is actually from the sun to Pluto.
Who from the Galactic Federation put this light lock on? Who exactly, Rod?
I don't remember none of the names. Like I can't tell you their names, but I can tell you what star systems they represent.
Yeah.
Because the code or the key is in the Bible. And the Pleiadians is called the bands of Pleiades. When it asks you who can loose the bands of Pleiades, that's asking you who can relieve you from this Pleiadian light lock. And then it mentioned the Arcturians in there. It's in the Bible. So look up bands of the Pleiades in the Bible and you'll see what verse I'm talking about. This is the way that they kept all of the combatants within the confines of the Earth. All of the wars that we've been fighting had nothing to do with no humans from the first one to now. The wars we've been fighting, we've been the instruments that the two competing powers are using to fight their war based on our nature as humans. Now, a good reference for this to get an idea where you can visualize what I'm talking about is a George Burns movie called Oh God, You Devil. And he's playing God and he's playing the devil, right? And he's having conversations with himself about their war, the human that they so-called focused on at the moment. But check that movie out, you get an understanding what I'm talking about. In the Sumerian record, these Oh God, You Devil is really best of buddies, and they trying to always one-upmanship each other in order to impress their father. This is Enki and Enlil. Enki is generally what we would call a benevolent so-called god, if you want to use that term. And Enlil is a malevolent so-called god, if you use that term. But really what it is Enki is a scientist. And his specialty is genetics. And Enlil is a military prodigy. And his specialty is military use of resources. And this is what they've been fighting. The one Enki is using the codes of morality and that he followed for himself as a guy giving instructions to his offspring. You flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. So you need to behave like this. You can't behave like my brother's children over there because they don't got no home training. So it's playing out on Earth as wars, right? All of the wars is playing, right? All of this stuff was planned for 6,000 years, or else they wouldn't have wrote about it as prophecy if it wasn't a plan. We presume that the prophecy just haphazardly manifests itself. We not realizing that if the right people know what the prophecy is, they know what to display as the defining event that's going to reveal the fulfillment of the prophecy, that's going to tell you where you at in the book, which is going to tell you what part of the plan that you are actually living through. But we take the book to be something other than what the ones that's using it to manipulate the world take it to be. They told us everything they was doing, and because they talk in coded language, we didn't know what they was telling us, and that's how they was always talking over our head right to our face, playing good cop, bad cop, right? So the Pleiadians put the light lock in place. Now, the Arcturians gave them what's called preliminary spiritual support, which means they used some sorcery to back up what the Pleiadians did with a different form of conjure magic. So one of them is affecting the auric field of the Earth, and the other one is affecting the electromagnetic radiance of the Earth. When the sun is piercing through as it's being lifted, it's speeding up the mitochondrial free radicals in the Earth, which is translating the solar rays into a code for genetics. The Earth responds by sending a Schumann resonance back to the sun to request correction codes for the errors in the DNA before we go into the next realm. So now we've learning in real time how to phase out birth defects as the Earth and the moon, the Earth and the sun are once again able to communicate without this massive radiation barrier that had us like we was underwater in the Piscean age. We were in delirium. We was in a stupor, right? Now, because we're going into the Aquarian age, our heads is coming out of water, but the water is the spirit that's still coming out of the jug in Pleiades. The water that falls on the head of the babes, right, was the wisdom that comes from the mouth of the mothers. So we seeing it coming in the Aquarian age, activating centers in the psyche for us to all get on the same page so that we can reach critical mass and boom, change it all. Because what we're looking at with the naked eye is we trying to collapse the wave into a particle. The resistors that was in place before are dissipating. Like when ice melt on concrete, after a while, it don't even be a wet spot there. All of the water evaporating. This is what the Pleiadian light lock is now doing, evaporating, right? So now when you see the sun, it's no longer an orange sun. It's white. The intensity is turned up, right? If you have a light switch where you can dim your lights, you can look and you can see it happen. When you dim it, it'll take on more of a actual color than if you turn it up full blast. Well, instead of turning it up, you're taking the plastic off the bulb now.
Ooh.
Right? So now the light is able to come through at a higher intensity and with a cleaner burn, if that makes sense.
That's a perfect way to put it. Now you summed that up real good. I'm gonna have to share that clip on Instagram. You summed it up real good, Rod. So when these wars, you talked about, these wars that were going on Earth between these two factions. What was Tahuti doing at this time when these wars was going on between Inkling and Enlil? What role did Tahuti play in the Pyramid Wars?
Tahuti, if you go back to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Thoth and Tahuti is the same person, different era, different name for different era. But Tahuti is still Thoth. And he's being instructed by his father, the great, what do you call him in there? Atum, I think is what he called him. But he's telling us that he told him to get in his ship and fly to the lands to the east and to set up what we know today as Kemet. Mm-hmm. Right? And he said he raised the pyramids with his staff of power. And he subdued the hairy barbarians with his power. And then he said that they built Kemet. Kemet is a military outpost that was put in place in order to check what was going on in what we call today ancient Babylon, Sumer, going into ancient Syria, which is modern day Iran. And so Kemet was set up to oversee that by Tahuti, which is Thoth. And he was a scientist under Enki, so he was never allowed to participate in the military side of things, even though he was the number one military strategist with the only treaty on war. Right. So, but because he didn't come from the warrior line, he was excluded from war in the Anunnaki pantheon. And this is the one that Enlil is seeing as Horus when you talk about the holy drama. Set being represented by Enlil and Osiris being symbolized by Enki. They telling you that on Enki line comes Heru, the rightful heir. And it's not by the will of Enki, it's by the will of Isis. And it's by the will of Isis that she produced this child after Enki is gone, meaning without. So they're telling you all this is the story of Sophia, it's the story of Isis, it's the story of Inanna, it's the story of Ishtar. It's all of the fallen goddess stories. It's the same story. They all are classified by the Romans as whores, right? And that's because it was the war on the divine feminine. And Isis birthed Heru through parthenogenesis, and she's used the code that made up Osiris in his DNA because the women's mitochondria can download your DNA information. The science was deliberately interfered with when they put the moon there to take away the woman's ability to parthenogenically reproduce and to take away her ability to turn her menstrues on and off for cleansing purposes, and also to take away her memory of how to use these faculties that she have latent in her body because of the moon. And then it took them thousands of years to learn how to use the moon, the artificial moonlight, for a form of feminine magic called moon magic.
Rod, when we talk about this war and the humans being used as instruments, whose side of the war, this, I guess you could say, extraterrestrial war, does America fight for? Who's America fighting for in terms of these entities from Nibiru?
So if they're not, Americans are the only people that would be fighting for the Earth. That's why they end up coming over here anyway. Enlil was given 6,000 years to rule the Earth, but he was not permanently given the Earth. He was just given rulership rights for what we call just 2 Shar God cycles. That's like a two-term presidential reign on Nibiru. Right? It's the equivalent of understanding of how it worked. So he was given the rulership in the interim. But when the war broke out, he go into hiding from Enki, and Enki go into hiding from him. So the Galactic Council needed a referee, an impartial referee, somebody who don't want Earth. And they went and got Enlil's son that named after Enki's son to be the referee. And they called him Marduk. And they chained him in Tartarus according to the Book of Enoch. Tartarus, topographically as described in the Book of Enoch, it's the landmass of Antarctica, not the ice mass. And he's saying that the Enlil's son was given the dominion of to rule in his father's place. I am my father's son, bullshit, religious dogma, told to you using the story of Isis giving birth to Heru to grow up to take the throne back from Set. So they telling you these stories because they have to keep it alive in the collective memory unless it all unravels. When we start to challenge it as a paradigm, we start forcing it to unravel, and this is how we get free from the psychological programming of it. But they use all that to fight each other. Earth. Earth is the Americas is the land of Tahuti. It's the land of Thoth. It was 3 regions of Earth that was before Enlil came. It was the Americas was the land of Tahuti. Europe and Asia going into the Pacific Islands of Hawaii, going down to Australia was ISIS's main territory. And then Africa, what we call Africa today, what we call India, which was ancient Persia, going into India, through Pakistan, all that was Inky territory. The way that Tahuti's children was raised, they wasn't never raised to bow to nobody. That's why we got a problem with that shit to this day. None of the tribes of the Americas, they never took it. They never was bow to nobody. They respected their own. They show certain skills and certain prowess. That's how you made your bones on your own merits, not on sacrificing people. Whereas Enlil children make their bones by sacrificing other people so that they can replace them and receive somebody's blessing as a sacrifice, right? And that's called blood magic. That's why it's so involved in all of the systems today of politics, religion, education, entertainment. It's all in there because it's being controlled by the same faction or family dynamic by the children of Enlil. From this, based on what's written in Sumerian tablets, tracing the information to now, they've been still at war, and it's only been a couple of days or weeks Nibiru time. So they have the war to us is endless and it's ongoing, but to them it's just like a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. Time is relative to perception.
Mm-hmm. How significant is Cuba? And because you mentioned these lands, how significant is Cuba in all of this?
Remember, Cuba was where Columbus first landed. We call it Hispaniola. Right? So we were going back out of the cycles, seeing the same thing we seen coming in them, but only it's upside down and backwards. And that's why you got to understand when I say mirror this or flip that, because I'm looking at something from the past resurfacing in the present, but it don't look the same that it did in the past. It might just only be the name, or it might be a picture of something with a caption on it that reflects something from the past. It's a flip, right? So when you understand the funny mirror effect and that the universe got a sense of humor, it starts to make a lot more sense from a theatrical perspective.
Right. So you mentioned and I've heard you several times in our shows. You mentioned the whole blood magic thing, the Babylonian blood magic. Rod, what's from as far back as you could go, seeing all the magic and the conjures that was done, what's the most powerful form of magic you feel that one can engage in?
It's relative to the level of concealment. Magic don't work in the light; it only work in the dark.
What you mean? Explain it to me.
If somebody casting a love spell on you and you tell them you casting a love spell, that shit not gonna work. You have to also, it's stuff you gotta understand, different types of magic. There's no one more powerful. I think I would say chaos magic, because chaos magic draws from whatever works from any system in order to accomplish the desired agenda. So chaos magic encompasses all fields of magic, which would make that probably the most potent. And it's also based on the ultimate principle of the divine feminine that we call dark matter.
Right.
Because you can't control dark matter with light. But dark matter can dissipate light, absorb it. But the light can't do nothing with the dark matter. So you got to know how to find the balance between the two energies, and then you can use the chaos. Chaos is going to give you a different system for everything that you're trying to accomplish. Because every system don't work the same. So I think chaos magic might be the most potent form of magic, only because it allows you the versatility to draw from everywhere magic is being used. But over time, it's going to do something else. It's going to make you visibly see all of the different types of magic that's in play in real time.
Right.
Yeah. Once you know how it works, you can trace it back to its source. But if you don't know how it works, all you can do is feel the effects and wonder where it's coming from.
No, indeed. How much of a you talked about the Pleiadian light code and the light that we are getting from the sun is different at this time. Do you think, because the first thing a person thinks about is chemtrails, because we can't help but see it everywhere in our sky. Are these still effective, Rod? What's your thoughts on the chemtrails at this point, 2026?
Trump stopped them from doing chemtrails years ago. Now they've been using what's called clean trails. That's why the reaction on the earth is different than it was when they started spraying. When they sprayed chemtrails, you didn't know that there was nothing being placed in the sky. But when they started spraying clean trails, places that started raining rocks, Brother Rich.
Shit.
They started raining gorilla hail because there's big chunks of matter being removed from the atmosphere. Or it's being coagulated some kind of way for this water to encapsulate it and bring it down. And then some of it is just, it gets so compacted, the chemical reactions that the clean trails have with the chemtrails, it literally like solidifies into like almost rock forms.
Shit, man.
Yeah, so they clean it up, the chemtrails, but it might take longer to clean that shit up than it is to put them up there. And they was doing it, at least we know, since 74.
Damn. Yeah, man, that's something.
but they was terraforming the earth because they thought Enlil was gonna win. So they was terraforming the earth to make it compatible with the people from the mirror universe. What's toxic to us is not toxic to them. What's not toxic to us might be toxic to them.
What the mirror universe you're saying?
Right. We not the same. Other than the fact that the what we call phenotypical format might be the same layout, but when you zoom into the DNA, the genetics, the chromosomes, you're gonna find mirror opposite expressions of genes, right? Which takes us back to the XY female and the 2X male. They mirror opposite. They come in from a mirror dimension. Right. A lot of people thinking that all of these gates are stargates. They're not all stargates. The one in Iran wasn't a stargate.
No? What was it then?
It was a portal gate. The difference is this. A stargate takes you off world to another stargate. That's why it's called a stargate. A portal gate takes you from one a geographical location to another without travel time.
Okay.
Right. And that's why you have people from two parts of the world telling the same story about the same being, even if they gave them different names. And they'll say, this is contemporary with the Moses story, with the Jesus story, the story of this person and this person, they mirrors because they went through a portal gate. And what's in the Grand Canyon to get you to Kemet was a portal gate, not a stargate. It takes you, it's like walking through a mirror coming out the other side, but it's a portal gate.
Right.
So all of the portal gates went to portals on the earth. Most of the portal gates, all of the stargates was dismantled, but not destroyed. Meaning they was took offline so we couldn't get out while we fought this 6,000-year war. The continuous crashing of civilization is continued resets from failing. This is why they called it the infinity loop. You keep repeating the cycle on each side of the mirror as you flip, because you're trying to use for the opposite side on the wrong side to correct the anomaly. It just got you confused. That's what they call flipping the Lucifer lens. Moving out of the upside down to the right side up. Remember, Venus was crucified upside down with her legs spread eagle and her arms spread out, which is your Baphomet star. Venus, in her resurrected form, is your traditional 5-point star with the top point up. Right? Now, the crucifixion of Peter, which is pater, which means father, is upside down cross. It's not the standard right side up cross of the crucifixion of the so-called Christ. The Peter is telling you that the Father is crucified and the divine feminine is crucified. And this is why in the book of Malachi it says, I come to turn the hearts of the children back to the fathers. Right? And if you look, the only way to easily conquer a family is take the father out the house, the first line of defense, the point man.
You know, I was about to ask you, Rod, is there any significance in this, song that is affecting the collective consciousness named Father? That's the name of Kanye's new song, is Father, and it's trending #1 all over the world. And any spiritual significance to a song named Father being that popular right now?
It would make sense. As we move back to a matriarchal structure, the divine feminine requires a strong masculine.
Right.
Patriarchy, you can put one there if you're slick enough. Right? He can fake it. He can fake it as long as he can.
That's a good point.
You can't do that in the matriarchy.
Wow.
Because in order, you have to first, everything, you got to have your skill set. You can't get placed where there is no skill set.
Yeah.
Right? Under the patriarchy, somebody can, wing it and get on by. That's why with so many illiterate millionaires.
Right.
It was more illiterate millionaires than it was legitimate literate millionaires. They was able to stumble into the system because it was designed for them to become wealthy. All you got to do is learn how the system works.
So you got to really be sharp in the system of matriarchy as a man.
Yeah, you gotta be on your shit. Because under the matriarchy, it's more driven toward family structural strength.
Right.
So when the women pick the man to be the head of household, as the breadwinner, that's the first soldier that they sending out into the world to defend the house.
Right.
You don't send the wife out there and the enemy at the gate. That's some pussy ass shit. Right? So he gonna go out first. He not gonna send his sons out there unless they old enough to walk with him. Right? But if they're not ready, he gonna leave them back with the women and go defend.
Right.
You gotta have a certain level of manhood to handle the weight of the responsibility. In patriarchy, you can borrow some manhood from the dude next door.
Oh shit!
And too many of them took that shit too literal.
Right. Damn. Yeah, this is interesting, Ron. The way this is going down, the stuff you've been talking about for the last couple of years, and to see all of this go down, the alien hybrid breeding programs and all this stuff, like
look, wow. most of the female abduction stories, if you get into ufology, most of them say they got a baby that's half alien that they ain't carried.
Yeah, you're right. I have heard that several times.
Yeah, most of them. Some of the first cases, there's no mention of it. But when you start moving closer to the 70s, you start seeing it more and more and more. And they telling you they got children that's psychically talking to them, some of these people.
Ooh.
They even got women whose eggs they gestated in the artificial womb, and then they got the men whose semen they took and was making test tube babies.
Damn.
All that. Why do you think the technology of test tube babies got so permanent like 83?
Yeah.
Now we ain't hear nothing about no test tube, nothing. All of a sudden, this little girl, a test tube baby.
Now they got in vitro or some shit now, right?
That's still test tube baby. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it was back then. But we called it test tube baby because we turned it into satire.
Right.
You remember the Robert Harris, test tube baby?
Yeah,
because it was an indication that it was something wrong with you if you had to be made in the test tube where you couldn't be born regular. But remember, the people from the mirror universe, they have to have an artificial insemination or they have to hire a surrogate. And a lot of them can't carry Earthborn without some medical intervention. It's a breeding program. So it's been going on. Matter of fact, the breeding program, like I said, go all the way back to Sumer. It's never been. You ever heard of a chimera?
No.
A chimera is a fictitious creature made up of very animal type. Like that lion behind you with the eagle wings would be considered a chimera.
Oh shit. Hold up, my smoke thing. Hold up. Keep talking, Rod. Let me take care of this.
Whew, that was potent. Yeah, so the chimera is also used in the laboratory. And they cross certain DNA in a laboratory and they give you strange animals, like stuff like monotremes are entirely different from similar species in another part of the world. Like the American possum is a marsupial, like a monotreme, but it's not a monotreme. It's a mammal, just like the monotreme, like the platypus, but it's different from an Australian platypus, right? But they know they related. And when you get, the environments and the isolation of genetics over time causes genetics to morph into something else, right? So when you hear them talking about minotaurs, right? You know what a minotaur is?
Yeah.
Okay. Centaurs, right? All those are chimeras. Sphinx, griffin,
right?
Flying monkeys, chimeras. Just because we went through a period where we was actually making that shit. Right. And this is what they writing about in the medical journals or the scientific journals of Sumer. Right. This is what Elijah Muhammad telling you about when he give you the origin story of the cat, the rat, and the dog is how the pig was made. Right. He's telling you there was a chimera. The chimera is a non-natural mixing of multiple species of animal. You've heard of a super soul, right? A super soldier. One of the first waves of super soldier was using eagle DNA for optical ability, gorilla DNA for optimal strength, right? So they are using different genetics parts that they want from the animal. They only want the strength of the gorilla. All they have to know is where's the gene that controls strength in the genome. Then they can trace it and narrow it down to how it's expressed through what vitamin mineral interaction expresses this, turns on this gene. Once they do that, now a super soldier can be activated by nutrition to turn on his eagle eyes and his gorilla strength. They nurture him with a certain nutrition, and this is where we get our modern supplements from. They learned all of this from the herbalists of the earth. And the herbalists of the earth was to teach us how to have optimum health. That's why I say earlier we were talking about the women cooking the food with the ingredients when we didn't need medicine. And that's why we got this old proverb. They say it's an old African proverb, but it's the old proverb among the tribes that say, let your food be your medicine. Right? So you can, Elijah Muhammad wrote How to Eat to Live. Right? You had dietary restrictions and dietary laws from different parts of the world, but they don't apply to everybody equally. Because the food stock that's available for the people of Iran and Iraq is not the same food stock that's available for the people in Zimbabwe and Nigeria or Hong Kong and Taiwan. The dietary access to food supply, right? So this is why they have what we call cooking genres. All of the cooking genres. You can cook Italian or Mediterranean. Italian falls under the Mediterranean cuisine, but so does the Greek, right? So does the Palestinian diet. All that's Mediterranean because it's all around the Mediterranean. And the way that they cook their food relied on the food stocks that was available in the area they was in. Only royal families was able to send people to distant places to get rare ingredients. Right? Regular people didn't have that luxury. They grew what was there, ate what was there because they had control over that. So when they see foreign diets come in of what look like it's unsustainable, right? If it don't look sustainable, they'll say don't even get started on that shit. It's not a good idea, and it becomes a taboo in that society because it can't sustain that society, right? But then you have a caste system based on dietary demands too. Like in ancient Egypt, pig farmers was revered, but they was revered over the fuck there, right? They was given special honors from royalty, but you stayed your ass over there in your pig farm, right? So they served the purpose because that's how they kept the land clean. See, they had a purpose. Anything that had a purpose was revered in ancient times. Today, you got people that's dog breeders with no purpose. Don't understand breeding or genetics. All they see is dollars. Right? So if they're making a law, it ought to be illegal to backyard breed dogs.
Yeah.
But if you don't go to class to be a breeder, you shouldn't be able to breed because they messing up the genetics, which is making it shortening your dog's lifespan and quality of life. The old breeders understood that first and foremost, whatever you breeding this dog for, he got to be functional to perform that task.
Right.
People want attack dogs to be lap dogs. That's backwards as hell. You want a lap dog, get you a lap dog. Don't go get a big ass attack dog to be your lap dog.
Lap dog, right? Yeah.
First of all, he gonna be miserable because he ain't got no motherfucking purpose in his mind because he was designed to tear something up.
Right. I want to actually. Oh, first of all, yeah, my fault for the smoke alarm, y'all. When I light my candle, I got this. I got these candles, these number candles, and when I light them, I don't know why my alarm. This is like the third time it went off. It keeps going off, so I think I got to cut the wicks lower. I think that's what it is. I think the wick is too high or something. But sorry about it. I know that scared a lot of people. Sorry about that.
There's the air in the room circulating like with a fan on or something.
Yeah, I don't have the air on. You're right. That's probably what it is.
Because when you first light a candle, if you ever notice, black smoke right first.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that sets off the fire alarm. The soot.
The soot, yeah. I want to ask you, Rod, you mentioned the divine feminine a lot. And, we all remember, we all know, we all had grandmas and mothers and great grandmas, and we remember the energy that they possessed. We know how much people respected them when they got around them. It was like grandmas was magical back in the day. And we see a lot of men see that women don't possess that magic right now. They're not, they don't have that big mama energy. There's a lot of mothers and grandmothers, but ain't nowhere near the energy of what that we grew up around used to have. What I want to ask you is, do you think women can tap into their divine feminine as long as they are working a 9 to 5? Like, do you think the workload is too strenuous on a woman right now and it's interfering with her spiritual power, and she wasn't meant to work at the rate, even though our mothers worked and whatnot, but they got us working like dogs now because we got to pay so much rent and this bill and that. It's crazy right now. So do you think the 9 to 5 is affecting a woman's ability to tap into her big mama energy?
Did you hear what you just said? Even though our mamas used to work.
Yeah. But it wasn't as strenuous, I feel. Because the bills, you could get a carton of milk or water for a nickel or 25 cents. Now, y'all was in a grocery store the other day.
Yeah, I remember, Rich, back then, minimum wage when you was 4 years old was like $3 and something.
Yeah.
Minimum wage now was damn near $15.
Is that much now? 50? Shit.
It was not 15, but it's getting there.
Right.
Right. All that's inflation. But the workload is not as hard. But the payout is not equivalent.
It's not equivalent.
Right. But that doesn't stop the woman from being the woman. Social engineering is the number one obstacle to the women being women. right? The push for alternative lifestyles as opposed to being a mother is the influence that's crippling women. Most of the women that's fighting for what they call women's rights don't know that they really fighting for drag queen rights.
Shit.
And that was always the feminist agenda. Because the part of the rogue patriarchy, they replaced all of the priestesses of the world with men in dresses. You got to remember, they queen got an Audi. She looking like a man. But she's the feminine, she's female according to her genetics. Right? According to her ability to pass mitochondria. Right? So she's female. But according to the earth, she's a mirror opposite of an earth being. So all of the men that's been dressing up as women have been mimicking their queen. This is what made that homosexual pedophile priest cult so popular, because their queen is a hyena. Lack for a better way to say it. But that rule is up. You know. So the divine feminine was took over and replaced with men, and they gave this patriarchal doctrine to women in order to masculinize the women, to make them not be as effective in being a positive impact influence on their men, which makes the men begin to become more passive because they're not fighting for anything of honor anymore. You want to bring the best out of a man, give him a cause to be honorable. It's not a cause like this romantic love. They don't know that romance means homosexual. Literally, like not figurative. Romance means the old man seducing the young boy. That's what it means. And now the women have been tricked into believing in some shit called romantic love, which took away the self-love aspect of all love. As soon as you got her chasing romantic love, she can't tune into the love frequency of the self that liberates her from all needs from external expressions of love for her to feel whole. They did that on purpose. It's inverting her power. Right? It's changing the motherfucking cables on the battery. The battery still works, it's just running back. It's going to burn out fast. And this is what they face with. I don't never get into no debates on like, because we know we live in a whole culture because the women see it. If the women know it's whole culture, then you can bet on the fact that it's whole culture. Right? But that is based on a systematic attack by feminism to make the woman want to replace the man with the woman so that they can move into the women's positions in the matriarchy, masquerading as women. And that's why the Statue of Liberty a drag queen. Doing a drag race, chase drag queens across the land, the cannonball ring. Let this cannonball make that bitch run like 90 going north.
Right. No facts. Man, oh man. Let me get a couple of questions in the chat. Oh, by the way, Rod will be on Patreon live Tuesday at 8 p.m. 8 o'clock is good for you, right? Rod? Is 8 good?
Yeah, I'm right.
This Tuesday coming up. Today's April 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I think that's April 6th. Tuesday, April 6th, 8 p.m. The name of the show is Spiritual Therapy. It's your opportunity to really get on camera or off, if you want to be off, and ask Rod a thorough question. Usually with these shows, there's not a lot of time at all, so we're like breezing through the questions. But it's your opportunity and get some, people ask some real deal questions on this show, Spiritual Therapy. Shit that they wouldn't ask. Matter of fact, somebody told me they wanted me to start using Zoom and stop using the private YouTube link because they want to keep their shit, you know, completely
That's right.
off. Yeah, completely off YouTube. So I forgot, I gotta look into that also, but it's a real good show, Spiritual Therapy. And he will be on this Tuesday at 8 p.m. All right, family. But with that being said, let's get to a couple of questions. I seen as always, anytime I see somebody ask, I want to remember to put it up. Let me put the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. I seen somebody earlier had asked $SIKAPE. If you would like, we got about 3,500 people in here. If you want to show the brother Rod Hayes, we got a packed house tonight. You want to show the brother Rod Hayes some Cash App love. You appreciate what the brother been spent to us over the years. Hit the brother Cash App up at $ capital SIK capital APE. All right, family. With that be the Tuesday's the 7th. All right, so Tuesdays is the 7th. But yeah, let me get to a couple of questions from the chat. Then Brother Rich is going to get out of here. Let's see. Somebody said, shout out to Ashe 9 Affirmation. She said, difference between the 3 sisters Bobby used to speak about and the 7 Pleiadian star sisters.
Systems.
Right.
The 3 sisters is Oye, Oshun, and Yimiya. But it's also a growth method for farmers of the Americas, right? Which tied to the 3 regions of America, which is from the Appalachian Mountains going east, the Rocky Mountains going back west, and then what we call the center, which is Louisiana Territory. Each one of them was represented by a particular sister at a point in time when the land was divided that way. The 7 sisters of the Pleiades is also known as a conjure, the 7 sisters conjure. And it's like when you being prepared, you'll find that you have 7 people with the same name close to you in the family for some reason. That's a 7 sisters, not. It's also drawn from that energy of the Pleiadian light lock to use 7 sisters conjure. A master of the 7 sisters conjure was Madame Blavatsky, and that's why they used to call her. That's what they used to say. She ran a brothel.
Oh, shit. Right. All right, let's get to let me get to this question here, Rod. All right. What is the state/role of Black folks in relation to our alien kinfolk? Are we more magical than white folks?
Some white people magical and got real good magical skills, but the answer is that it's subjective because everybody have a possibility to exercise their highest magical expression. And because powers being different, you can't say somebody is more or less magical. You're going to be magical in different aspects. One person might be clairvoyant, the other one might be clairaudient, while another is clairsentient. They perceiving information from 3 different locations in the brain, 3 different methods of spirit communication to the body. So it's not about being more or less magical. It's how tuned you into your magic. As far as alien kinfolk, I have no concern for anybody that ain't from the earth. I think that we got enough earthborn problems to deal with on Earth that I wish these extraterrestrial, alien, foreign invading motherfuckers pack this shit up. Wherever star you from, take your motherfucking ass back. And so that's my take on our relatives from space. Take their ass back into outer space so we can fix Earth because y'all done got it jacked up.
Oh man. Rod stay saying that. Oh man. Let me see. Shout to Slimmer Bay. She says, why do you never hear much talk about Sirius A? What do you know about that area?
That's because the Dogon people who come from Sirius B is the predominant energy that came to the earth because they brought actual beings, bodies, avatars with them. Whereas the people that live on Sirius A, they didn't send nobody physical, but they able to talk to the ones from Sirius B telepathically and get their information. So we're not really focused on Sirius A in general throughout antiquity because they didn't send avatars, but Sirius B and Sirius C sent avatars. They sent us dogs and they sent us cannabis. All of that is from the Sirius B and C. There's some more people on Sirius A that's the elders of the ones on Sirius B and C. And just look at it like old people versus the children. The children want to go out and explore the world. Old people say, I already did that. I want to sit back and relax and go fishing in my old age. That was why we have more discussion about Sirius B than we do Sirius A, because they are just guides for the people that's learning as from Sirius B. They use them for their spiritual hierarchy.
So you said the marijuana come from Sirius B, huh?
Yeah.
Mm. All right. Shout out to somebody who sent the super chat. Great show. I always wondered if Rod offers any type of training or mentoring under his leadership for learning more and growing in knowledge.
So right now, I'm just giving it all away free as much as I can, as clear as I can, just let everybody just have it. But I'm not going to always be on social media because I hate social media with a passion. When I get off social media, unless it's some old shit, I probably won't be on here. The only way you'll be able to learn is to come with the programs that I'm not set up yet, but I will be setting some up once because I get done with this assignment. My assignment was social media because I hate this shit.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Shit. All right, next question. Speak about how the Orishas really originate from the West and not Africa as taught.
Well, that's okay. So when we calling them Orishas, we talking about American. We call them different Loas, different ranking systems through the families of the Orishas, the Loas. That's from over here. We've been doing that for years over here. All of that is earth magic. All of that is what we call voodoo, that's earth magic. When you understand that it's earth magic, it was all over the earth as forms of magic throughout the entire history of earth. When they tell you something is pagan, I mean it comes from when the earth was one united family called Pangea, right? Whether it's a metaphorical Pangea or a literal Pangea, but at one time under matriarchal rulership, earth used to be united as one great political apparatus. And you have to do that before you can start interacting with other star systems for trade. Because they got stuff that's natural there, that's not natural here. We got stuff that's natural here, that's not natural there. And the offset is the trade. When you're talking about doing intergalactic trade, you're talking about trillions of dollars per trade. Whereas when you're talking earth to earth country trade, you're talking maybe millions. If you really, really into some heavy trade, you might break $1 billion, right? So that's chump change, what we call in the realm of the gods, that's pocket money. The real money is galactic trade money, where you got to have quadrillions of dollars just to start and just to be considered at the economic forum of because they all come from different star systems. In the calculation of the currency, it may be offset, but there's just like with trading money on Earth, it's going to be a medium of exchange where you can figure out how to make the trade equitable, right? So it's called the adjustment of the trade rates. And all of this stuff is the earthborn. It's like what we are heritable to in these sciences, the voodoo sciences, the Santeria, the Heka, all of it is aspects or parts of the original earth magic, the original systems of conjure of the earth. You see them when you study other foreign cultures, you'll see the same tradition, but the people be different names and they have different functions. But when you look at the layout will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can match the characters up because the symbolism will be the same.
Right. Okay, we're gonna do two more questions. Somebody wants to know: are humans related to dinosaurs?
In the sense that we have a reptilian brain like the dinosaurs had as our central cortex, I guess you could say we related. Dinosaurs was created in the laboratory to turn Earth into a hunting preserve for a couple 100 million years in Earth time. That's only like a couple years in galactic time, but in Earth time, it's billions of years. So it's totally possible related.
And who was doing the hunting rod for these dinosaurs?
The Andromeda beings. When the first of the Andromeda beings came, they was trying to hunt the women. They didn't know, like, they different. If you go to the Andromeda beings, don't look like Predator, but that's what Predator represented. They look more like these beings from deep space or from Stargate deep space called the Wraith. And they matriarchal. And when they discovered, they came like right around the time the first contact with the Anunnaki came. So they was coming here to hunt because they discovered that there was life here, but they didn't know what they was going to hunt. Well, by them coming in contemporary with the Anunnaki, when they going out hunting, they capturing humans, which is like minnows to them, and then they capturing Anunnaki, which is like big game. In the course of this, the Earth women start scanning telepathically for who is these people. And this is how they discovered the Andromeda beings coming here on hunting expeditions. At the same time that's going on, the second wave of Anunnaki with Enki is coming. And when they get here, they discover there's a peace talk going on between the Andromeda beings and the Earth beings. The Andromeda beings is on the Galactic Council only because they came to Earth contemporary with the Anunnaki. So they come from a deeper part of space than the rest of the Galactic Council. But anyway, so to give them a period of time where they can have a big game hunt and to solve the conflict between the matriarchs of the Earth and the Andromeda beings, Enki told him he could make dinosaurs in the laboratory so that they could have big game to hunt. No dinosaur was ever male. Not one. They never had a male dinosaur. All dinosaurs reproduce parthogenically, like the women of the earth used to do.
Man. Let's get to this last all right, somebody wants to know, how can I stay in a vision once I realize it's a vision? It always gets cut short once I realize it's a vision and not a dream.
You got to practice, because what you're doing is you're actually activating fear, which kicks you straight out of the vision. And the fear is not coming in as a terrible fear; it's coming in as a self shock, like, oh, I can actually do that, and that little burst that right there snaps you right out of it. So this is what transcendental meditation teaches you the relaxation for, and just to observe the mind. And that's the training. When the vision coming in, you can observe the vision without an emotional reaction. You can hold it. But as soon as you activate one emotion, you snap straight out of it. You gotta be able to learn how to be the observer of what's going on in your mind without taking sides of what's going on in your mind. And then you can start seeing that the psychic information is not does not match your character or your personality. When you get psychic information, it's not gonna never match your personality. That's how you're supposed to be able to identify that it's psychic information.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely good question, Lala. Appreciate you for closing out the show with that one. Rod, anything you want to leave the people with before we get out here? April 2nd, they say yesterday was April Fool's Day. That's what they call it. It was a full moon. They launched that moon thing on April 1st. So, well, man, what's your last message for the people, Rod?
Look, remember, this is just a simulation. All of this stuff is actors. All of these people is satire. It's a grand theatrical performance for the collective entertainment of the masses while they on Earth. Everything is not supposed to be cut and dry. Some things are supposed to be confusing for you to have a puzzle to work on in order to satisfy your mind's God desire. If you don't have any puzzles to work on, you have nothing to challenge the mind. You came here to be challenged on University Earth. All you got to do is recognize that you challenging yourself, because you have to write the curriculum, because you're the only one know yourself well enough to know what would make you do this to yourself. Why would I put me in this position? Nobody else know you that well. If they do, they can lead you anywhere they want you to go. So you're looking at your life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Always ask yourself, why would I put me in this position? What am I trying to teach myself? And that's how you learn. The easiest way to navigate life is to move with life and stop trying to be mad at life for moving. Because time don't stand still for nobody, neither does life. Life gonna be life until the life comes to an end.
Great advice to end the show, my brother. Appreciate you once again, Rod, and I will see you Tuesday on Patreon at 8 o'clock, my brother.
All right. Peace, my brother Rich. Peace to the people out there.
Peace. All right. Shout out to Rod Hayes. A brilliant show once again. He chopped it up for about 2 hours. Shout out to Rod. I knew that was going to be a fun show. We had a great conversation about, the war in the heavens, and I knew Rod was going to come and deliver with the show. Once again, family, make sure y'all sign up to the Patreon if you aren't already. I got the Rod's going to be on there Tuesday. I got to call Phil. Phil's coming any week now. He had a family emergency, so he got pushed back a little, but Phil's coming with his webinar on Patreon. And Brother Sharif got something coming up on Patreon. So we got Rod Hayes, we got Phil, and we got Sharif coming up with, I would say everybody within the next 2 weeks. So stay on the lookout for that. Besides that, I made this announcement the other day. I'm doing a book review the end of this month, the end of April, it's going to be on the biology of belief. So if you have this book, this is Bruce Lipton. It's dealing with the science of epigenetics. So if you want to be a part of it, you could. They got the audio book on YouTube. Yeah, but I got the hardcover book. But I'm gonna be doing a book review on this. I'm gonna try to do a book review at the end of every month this year for the rest of the year. But I'm gonna start with this biology of belief. So I will keep y'all up to date with that. Somebody said I just got the book. That's what's up. Yeah, man, it's real good. It's a real good read. I listened to the audio book, but now I'm gonna read the book and take my notes. But yeah, it's an excellent read. But I'm trying to think. I don't think I'm doing it live tomorrow. I'm not sure. I might not. But anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We had a packed house tonight. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. What is going on? Yeah, shout out to all of y'all. What do you mean to life, and what does life mean to you? Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here, family. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. Somebody said, Brother Rich, Consul General Lamont Maurice L. is trying to come on your show. I don't know who that is, but you could email me at richinmerit. That's RICHINMERIT at yahoo.com, and I'll check out his information. And if I resonate with it, then I'll do a show. All right. Susan, what's up, Susan? Susan said I ordered cigars 318. Yeah, I remember your name sounds. You ordered several times from me, Susan. So I know you are regular when it comes to the cigars. Yours might have went out. If you email me, Susan, I'll send you a tracking number. I think yours definitely went out. Email me tonight, Susan, and I'll send you your tracking number. But I remember recently seeing your name, Susan. Email me tonight if you can, Susan. RICHINMERIT. No, the book review is going to be on YouTube. It's going to be right here on YouTube. Yeah, I want us to get more into the books. I think the books I got this thing in the back. So, yeah, I want us to get more into the books. So, activate different parts of the brain, with the books. Somebody said I got my tracking number today. That's what's up. Thanks for asking. Somebody said, is your mom's children book still available? Yeah, it is. I gotta ask my sister. It's on Amazon. I haven't checked up on that lately. I gotta ask my sister. But yeah, it should be up on Amazon. I'm glad you asked about that. I haven't taken a look at the book in a while, so I'm gonna take a look at it. Brother Rich, the PayPal donation to you doesn't get a cigar. The cigar link is different. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna share the link. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. I'm gonna share it again. Yeah, I gotta show the book, y'all. I remember I used to play the commercial for my mom's book. I played the commercial like 4 years ago. It came about 4 or 5 years ago that I would play the commercial. I don't even remember the name of the book. To be honest, I don't remember the name. What was the name of the book? Shit, I forgot the name of the book. It was about a little girl. This journey of this little girl. I gotta but I got like 5. I gotta go to my son's room and check out the book. But thanks, like I said, I haven't seen the book in such a long time. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I'll let y'all know how to get it. Somebody said, can some answer my question? What does light code mean for us? It's information. Light is another way to say light is information. So light codes are information that's hitting the planet hitting our body, hitting our DNA, hitting our cells. It's upgrades that are coming for us, or I guess it could be downgrades too. I guess in some instances, huh? Who knows? But yeah, upgrades, light codes is information. So I said, Rich, you like to talk about your mom? Yeah, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. I said on many shows, if I lived 1,000 lives, say, if I incarnated down here 1,000 lifetimes, I wouldn't mind her being my mom every single time. That's how much I loved her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. What is Dr. Valentine's wife? My nose is a little stuffy. If I sound a little clogged, my nose is a little stuffy. Just out of nowhere. You know. Dr. Valentine's wife name is Dr. Nalani. And I'm gonna have her on the show soon also. So shout out to Dr. Nalani. Shout out to her. All right. But let me get out of here, family. I've been on here over 2 hours. My nose is a little stuffed. I ran out of water in my cup. I ain't got no more water in here. Let me say this, y'all. That I'm very, very proud of. I finally find this. I'm like super duper proud of this because I've been procrastinating and bullshitting on this. Yeah. My daughter looks like my mom. Yeah, it's like the biggest blessing ever. My daughter has my mom eyes, her complexion, everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So it's like absolutely amazing. Let me tell you what I'm extremely proud of about myself before I get out of here. I finally, and I would advise everybody when you get the opportunity to do it, I finally got a water filter system put on my entire house. Now I had like one of the little shower ones before. You get the little ones, and then after 6 months they don't work. I got the whole house water system, reverse osmosis water system put on the house. And then I got the, under the sinks, I got the hydrogen tanks to add the minerals and all of that back in. So what makes me feel good about it is that, number one, we're literally bathed in chlorine and fluoride. Like, we're literally every day, our largest organ, our skin, we're bathed in Yo, in Georgia, the fluoride is so strong. You turn on your faucet, you can smell that shit. It smells like a goddamn swimming pool. So I'm glad I finally did it. I was having issues sometime with eczema, and I noticed even no matter how good my diet is, I still see eczema in certain parts, like like little spots on my arm or sometime on my face or something. And I was talking to somebody. I talked to Dr. B. And I talked to a couple of people. They was telling me, you got to stop bathing in that fluoride and that chlorine. And when they combine, they produce other chemicals, chloramine and all this other shit. And I was like, yeah, I gotta, and I invested in it, and I got a system put in, and it's been doing. I'm so happy. I don't. One thing I'm happy about is I don't buy bottled water no more, and I've been buying bottled water since I remember me and Rogers talked about drinking from a fountain. Shit, I probably stopped drinking tap water probably when I was 7 or 8 or some shit like that. So the bottled water industry has been getting my money for such a long time. Deer Park, Polish Spring, Ascension. I mean, all these Avion, all these companies, and I don't buy bottled water no more. Finally, I'm free from that. You know how you free yourself from certain things in the Matrix? I'm free from the bottled water industry. So I'm like super happy about that. Like, I've been giving them money for so long. So I'm just super happy about that. And I would advise everybody to invest when you can invest in a water filter system. Yaki talks about that a lot. The water that's in our tap water and how we're bathed in it. So yeah, Polish Spring, man. Polish Spring got so much money, so much about money in my lifetime, man. Polish Spring got like 15 years of my money every day. No more of that play. I mean, it got to a point in New York. I was buying bottles of water and you could taste the plastic because they got the water's in plastic. They leaving it in the sun. The bottles leaching in the water. You drinking bottled water in New York. It got to the point where I'm like, damn, you could taste it. If you got these good taste buds, you could taste it. And I started buying waters in a glass bottle, and now I'm just done. I'm just done. So I'm glad. I'm real glad. And even the I was getting the Mountain Valley Spring. They're compromised because they sold their company. So as soon as we get a good bottled water company, the big dogs come and buy them up. They sell their company or whatever. So the big dogs came and bought Mountain Valley Spring. So you can't even trust that water no more. That water's compromised. It got bad arsenic and shit in it, all types of stuff in it. So you can't. All these bottled water companies, man. So I'm just happy. I'm free from that. I'm gonna free myself from the. I tell you, I want to get a farm, and so I've been telling y'all that since last year. Start growing my own stuff and just freeing myself one by one from different things in the matrix. You know what I'm saying? And you know, shit, it feels good. No more money on bottled water from me. There you go. Kayla, PD in the forest. That's the thank you. Y'all the best. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the best. That's the name of my mother's book. It's on Amazon. It's Kayla, PD in the forest. That's the name of the book. And my nose is so clogged right now. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Kayla, PD in the forest. I should go when I meditate tonight, I should put that book out. That'd be a good idea. I gotta find it. When I meditate tonight, I'm gonna have that book out. Thanks for finding that for me. Prit Thord. Yeah, thanks. I purchased 2 books. Thanks. Dope. Appreciate it. Yeah. New Diamond say eat some ginger. You know, I just had some. It's interesting you said that. I just had some lemon honey ginger tea. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some of that after I get off here. But listen, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yeah, congrats on the freedom for bottled water. Freedom for bottled water, y'all. Shit. Damn, they got so much of my money. Freedom from that, man. Yo, somebody said, what do I think about his Pooh Shiesty, man? He's ignorant, man. He just came home and ego is a motherfucker and just ignorant. I mean, if what the lawyer is saying is true and he did that, I understand people want to get out of contracts, but bro, you got to send some hitters in or something. There's a better way to go about it. Like, I don't know. That just sounds crazy. That just sounds crazy to me. To just came home to crash out. Yeah, to crash out like that. It lets me know the people around him don't love him. He's the bag. You protect the bag. Whoever's the bag, you protect the bag at all costs. So the fact that whoever he was with, I think he went with his dad, they said. So, I mean, yeah, he just crashed out. You know, it is what it is. And it's, it's just another example of how that street culture is over. Your only A.A. Rashid can have little Kim in comedic garbs and a hat in there. He's making our woman divide again. Shout out to A.A. Can y'all see the shirt? I don't know if y'all can see the shirt. A.A. got little Kim in the comedic garbs, man. It's a dope shirt. A with the dope shirt. You know what I'm saying? A got crazy gear. Yo, I love AA's gear. So he be sending me stuff and I appreciate it. I advise y'all to support AA. You could go to his Instagram, AA Rashid, and DM him. And yeah, he'll let you know what he got available. You know, coaching for somebody said coaching for 10 years. It's just so ignorant. I don't know how you crash out that bad. You just came home. I don't like that. That's an epic crash out. Epic crash. You don't get no cool points for none of that street shit no more. you really never got cool points from. We thought we got cool points from it. I'm so glad I avoided that. That's another reason why I love my mother. She kept me. She did her best to keep me out of the streets. Although I dabbled in it, once I graduated high school, and I had my want to be a tough guy years of my life, where you want to be a tough guy in the street and you want to do tough things because that's where all the tough guys are. But my mother did an amazing job of keeping me out of the streets. So that's another thing that I appreciate. She sent me to Catholic school, and although Catholics got a horrible history, one of the benefits of going to Catholic school is the discipline, and it kept you away from certain street elements. But discipline was big in Catholic school. So although they was doing a lot of crazy shit, in these Catholic schools with the raping of the boys and the children and the girls and all that, like Catholic. I mean, it's crazy. It's like you don't know which way to turn in this matrix. You don't know which way to turn. What to the left is the streets for your son. To the right is Catholic school with some freaky ass priest. So the other side is, it's just it's hard to know what to do in this matrix, and you just got to use your intuition, because I think everybody has to do something different in what's best for them in this matrix. But God bless all of us navigating this matrix. Like Ross said, it's just a simulation. Whatever happens to you, don't take it too personal. Yeah. Somebody said, "Hey, Rashid, the guy that makes the jury." No, he doesn't make jury. No, he makes clothing and music and art. He's an artiste. He's an artiste. He's an artiste. He makes art, music, all of that stuff. But yeah, let me see what else y'all talk about. Somebody said, "I was a bad kid. Definitely not proud." Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you changed. Definitely glad. We don't know better as kids most of the time, especially if we don't have the right influences around us. Yeah, hell yeah, the priests definitely rape girls too. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Somebody said all water filters are not the same. Persada, water filters filter glyphosate, uranium, plus 500 other contaminants. That's dope. Yeah, shout out to the guy I got it from. He was highly recommended by Dr. B. Real cool white dude. And if anybody's in the Georgia area who's interested in getting a water filter, you can email me and I'll get his contact info over to you. But genius dude, real genius dude, and he did a great job. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about this water filter, but I know Dr. B knows about it a lot, and I followed his recommendation. So shout out to Dr. B. Yeah. Yeah, the water does taste different in the copper cup. The water tastes different coming out my filter. It's silkier. I got silkier water, y'all. My water be silky like a motherfucker. I don't know what it's doing. Like I said, my system is serious. I don't know what it's doing, but it definitely, my water's silkier. But yeah, drinking water out of plastic, glass, and copper. Y'all, I could do it. The next event we got, I could blindfold myself, and I could show y'all that I know the difference from the three. I mean, of course, you're gonna be able to feel the copper if you drink out of it, but you could. It's hard to describe, but there's definitely a difference when you drink from glass, plastic, copper. What else? What else have I drunk from? Even if you drink from a straw, when you're drinking from a straw, like you could tell, you could tell when you drink from all of these different things, the difference. But yeah, I definitely enjoy. I got to get more. My son likes this a lot. My son doesn't like drinking water like that. And ever since I got the copper, I think because he thinks it's cool. He thinks it's cool, so he's been drinking a lot more water. Because he's hooked on that juice. He's been drinking a lot more water, so I'm glad. I'm very glad. Real glad. Yeah, real glad. Somebody said, "What do you think about the Water Tree store?" I don't know. I haven't heard of that. I gotta look into that. I haven't heard of that. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. All right. Let me see what else, y'all. Yeah, Jay-Z said that everything happens for you, not to you. Yeah, I heard Jay say that. That was one of the good quotes in the interview. That was a good quote. I respect him for saying that. I respect him for saying that. You know. Ooh, somebody said, "Do you think a 14K or better gold-plated cup will be good?" I don't know. That's interesting. Oh, silver. That's something else. I think. We used to use silverware. So I think that's something else. But yeah, all of these stuff. I think all of these things are dope. But I would love to drink out of gold, a 14 karat or better gold-plated cup. I would love that. I'm definitely gonna do that one day. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. Experiment, get different things. Diamond said, "I know the next event is gonna be fine." Yeah, you know that. You know that. Oh yeah, you know that. Somebody said, "Get some Iridium cups." That's interesting. No, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I'm gonna ask Dr. B. Hank could probably know about that. Getting some iridium cups. Hank got all types of things that he used with his water. That I forgot. I gotta call and ask him some stuff. Oh, let me give you my email. I know. See, y'all ask for an email before I get out of here. RichardBarrett@yahoo.com. Yeah, that's my email. All right. RichardBarrett@yahoo.com. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, with that being said, y'all see me and Red was back outside the other day. I'm going to be doing more videos outside, so stay tuned for that. It was fun. It was real fun being outside, and I got my gimbal, so when I hold my camera, it's going to be like more cinematic. Like it's gonna be more cinematic. It's going to be dope. So crystal glass, yeah, y'all name it all. I had a crystal glass and it broke. My sister bought me one. I think it was my sister years ago. I think she bought me one, and but it broke. But yeah, crystal glasses is dope. It was from the Tiffany store. You know the Tiffany jewelry store. I had a crystal glass from the Tiffany store, the jewelry store. It was amazing. I don't know. I forgot how it broke, but it broke. It was amazing. So I do want to get a crystal glass again. Yeah, definitely do. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, family. Really, really good to get out of here. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. We had a pack house tonight. Everybody enjoy. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I want to show you around here. No, everybody enjoy the rest of your night. I will probably see y'all not tomorrow, but probably Saturday. Might do something outside or Saturday. But everybody enjoy the rest of your night. I hope y'all enjoyed that full moon last night, and I hope y'all tapping into this April energy. They say something big going down. What is Easter this month, right? Or May? Is Easter in April or May? A lot of the people in the spiritual community, I think, what's his name? What's the dude that said something big going down? B Dale just did a show on it. He said something is going down around Easter. It's Sunday? Is this Sunday? Oh shit. Yeah. Okay, my fault, y'all. I know y'all like, damn, Rich, what planet you live on? Oh, okay. Easter's this Sunday. I forgot. But yeah, they said something's supposed to go down. So yeah, Sunday. They said something. I think in the sky with the star Regulus or something. Like I said, yeah, Regulus. Yeah, B-Dale just did a show on it. I forget the dude's name that was talking about it. Damn, what's the name? I just seen the video. But yeah, there's a dude that he said something big's supposed to go down in the sky or somewhere. So let's see what's happening on Sunday. All right. With that being said, like I said, man, I really appreciate y'all for always tuning in. With that being said, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, with that being said, I'm getting out of here, family. I will see you on Saturday and maybe Sunday. If something's going down Sunday, then I might do a show on Sunday. All right. Enjoy the rest of your night, family. Peace and blessings. Oh, as we go out with this radio cigar commercial, Let me share the link one more time. If you want to engage with the Radio Cigars, this is the link as we side out. Family, Radio Cigars. Go and get you one, family. Peace.
Radio cigar.
Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars.
Radio cigar. Radio cigar. Radio cigar.